Light switch.
An Odyssey station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210.
All right, you're up.
Good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters, I'm Phil Falcone here with my business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option investing. Call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right, we are a live program, so you can call us anytime during the show, and we will take your calls. Don't even worry about what we're talking about, because we love to take your calls. Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. That's correct. We are local guys, accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. If you want to learn this business, that's the business of real estate investing and stock option investing. You want to learn it from people who live it every day. That's us. Hey, Larry, what's happening?
Phil, you got to do that all over again.
Why?
Because you sound like you're getting used to doing it, and it's coming across that way. It's coming across as you do this every week, and you just don't want to do it anymore. So you got to do it again.
Let me tell you what you should stop doing. Having random opinions.
Random opinions? I like my random opinions.
Save them.
Save them for what?
Save them for a staff meeting.
Oh, really?
Tell them to somebody who cares.
Really? So you guys on the radio, if you're watching on Facebook Live or you're on the radio, give us a call at 855-939-1137 and let me know if you felt the same way about Phil's intro today. He's usually really good and really on the ball, and today he sounded like he was just, oh, do I have to do this again?
Hey, Pedro, you better get ready to hold me back.
Pedro's our producer, for those of you guys who don't know who that is. Our internal producer. We have Phil at the radio station, too. So you guys, when you call in, 855-939-1137, you'll talk to Phil Amquist. So
not only did the guy at Dunkin' Donuts get me in a very agitated mood, but the script today is actually cutting-edge stuff, too.
Yeah, so you're in a mood. So tell us about why you were in such a mood, and maybe that's why it affected your intro.
Well, I went to Dunkin' Donuts today, and there's a little shopping center on, what the heck's the name of that road?
Richboro Road.
Richboro Road, yeah. And there's a little, house at the end of the shopping center, and somebody was having a wedding there. And they took up all the parking spots. So
in front of Dunkin' Donuts?
The whole shopping center,
okay.
Behind the shopping center, in front of the shopping center, on the side of the shopping center, everywhere. There was nowhere to park. So I parked my car in a handicap spot for like a minute and a half to go get 2 cups of coffee. And when I came out, some loser was taking pictures of the back of my car. I thought he was going to come to investorschooling.com because back windshield says, get your butt to Investor Schooling at 7 p.m. this Thursday night. So I thought he was just taking pictures to come to the meeting. And then he started hollering at me saying that his mother has MS and that she wouldn't appreciate me parking in the handicapped spot. So,
I don't know, Phil. You don't look like a kind of guy that should be in a handicapped spot.
Well, a man's got to park somewhere to get his business partner a hot cup of coffee.
Man, you are in a mood today. This is unbelievable. Do you talk to your tenants this way?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing more than talking to you in a minute if you don't back off.
It's a good thing we're across the table. So he actually, just so you guys know, he actually made me put a camera outside on his car today while we're doing a radio show. You guys on the radio, you can't see it, but you guys on Facebook could see it. Pedro, show him the camera that we have on his car today because
you can see it on Facebook?
He's so afraid. Yeah, he's so afraid that somebody's going to do damage to his car that we had to put the camera on the car.
The truth is, I want the guy to come do damage in my car because the car is a 2011 and it could use an upgrade.
So there it is. It's up on Facebook now, and everybody can see it on Facebook. It's pretty wild. So, by the way, and that's actually something to talk about too. The fact, I don't think they really can't see it that well on Facebook, but your car it's a BMW. It's a Z4. It's red, license plate number normally, but it has I Buy Houses on it, which I think is pretty awesome. I think that's pretty cool what you do with that. You scream to the world what you do.
Yes, I do.
And that's something you talk about often.
Well, if you're going to be in a business, you might as well put in a little bit of effort to let people know what kind of business you're in. In that case, like wearing T-shirts, wearing hats, wrapping your car, screaming to the world what you do for a living, and nobody who comes anywhere near me at any given time has any doubt in their mind of what I do for a living. It's very clear to everybody.
What is it that you do?
I buy houses.
Oh, I knew that. I should have known, especially because we're on the radio talking about it.
Even the jerk at the Dunkin' Donuts knows what I do for a living now.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
All
He
right.
knows.
Why don't we talk a little? By the way, I have to tell you where I was today.
Sure, go ahead.
I was at a graduation party
For?
for one of our students' son graduated from high school, and I was at his graduation party today.
Whose son was this?
It was Scott.
Scott who?
Yeah, I don't want to give last name, but yeah, Scott and his son Nick was graduating.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of cool. I went there. We had some sandwiches and some cake, and no Dunkin' Donuts coffee though, but it'll be all right.
Did you park in a handicap spot at his house?
I didn't. I parked in front of his house though, because I wanted to put my truck that says Investor Schooling all over it in front of everybody who's going to go to that party.
Okay, you want to talk a little bit about the topics today?
Let's do it. What are they?
So, with the current status of the world today, I'm starting to find myself quite concerned about the real estate market, about the stock option and the stock market as well. So you'll notice some of the questions today might be a little bit on the dark and gloomy side.
Yeah, you look dark and gloomy today.
I'm going to put a little warning out there to our listeners. Some of the stuff I'm about to talk about might be scary.
Good thing we paid for the studio cash, and we don't have to worry about
Yep.
financing it, huh?
So you get what you pay for. And if you pay people to stay at home, they will.
That's true.
Yes. And
And if you pay people if you let people stay in places that they don't have to pay rent because there's eviction moratorium, they will stay there for as long as they can.
yes, they will. Of course they will.
I think that's on your topics
So
today
I'm
too.
starting to think that the government that we currently have in the United States is a carbon copy of the Bolsheviks.
Explain that, please.
I'm calling them commies.
Oh, is that what you...
Okay. If you want a word from the French Revolution, we can call them Jacobins.
So I have to tell you, it's just something that I think about when I think about us going to a communist nation. I have actually, when you look a little bit through history, you can see that capitalists will always make money in a capitalist society or a communist society. Communists won't make money in either. So we're going to be all right.
That is very positive and an optimistic statement, but I don't buy it.
So why don't you buy it? What do you think? We're still going to have houses. We're still going to collect rent. The government's not going to take our houses away. At least it's not going to happen in our lifetime. It may happen in the future, but it's not going to happen in our lifetime. We'll still have the house. We may be taxed to death, but we're still going to own our properties, and we're still going to be able to collect rent. And the government's going to be paying that rent. It might even be helpful.
Hey, we're not really discussing these topics. We're just reviewing them right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay? All right, so here's another
Wow.
question.
Wow.
When will Philadelphia politicians allow evictions? When will Philadelphia politicians allow evictions? Is a year enough? Is 2 years enough? What the heck? Want to go for 3? Come on, Philadelphia. You wonderful politicians out there. Question to the governing body of the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Are your tenants your constituents? Are your landlords constituents? Yes to both is the answer. Therefore, you have to develop policies that benefit both. The whole thing is ridiculous.
And by the way, real quick, before you go next, if anybody out there wants to call in, 855-939-1137, and you can have these conversations with us. 855-939-1137.
Especially the guy that was driving around Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, and Phil's in a mood today, so it'll be lots of fun to talk to him. 855-939-1137. Go ahead, Phil.
Another topic is, what is a covered call? If you don't know what a covered call is, that's something that you want to discuss with us today. What is a covered put? Interesting. How about if there was a crash in the stock market? Would you put your money in cash or silver or treasury bonds or commodities? What would it be?
Or Bitcoin.
Okay, let's talk about
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Okay. Another question is, what does it mean to be politically diversified?
You're paying both sides. You're paying money to the Democrats. You're paying money to the Republicans.
Not in my interpretation,
Oh, okay.
but I'll be happy to explain it when we discuss that topic. And one of the most exciting things that we're going to be talking about today is the stock option Sultan, who will be with us today at the end of the show. In the last 10 minutes, he's going to give us his picks of the week. This is the only segment of the show where you could literally be involved in the conversation with us and make money on Monday. So you definitely want to listen to this and learn something from it. We also had a question come in today. Somebody asked, yes, El Salvador is the first country to recognize Bitcoin. What do you think of that?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has just been accepted by El Salvador, the great, massive economy of El Salvador.
Yes, the great massive economy.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody is familiar
I
with
heard they're
the
also accepting
wiki-
rice for payment too.
Well, I've actually never been to El Salvador, but my opinion would be it's probably not a great economy.
No, I
But
think
it's a gutsy move. I like the move.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I like the move. Coming out and saying we're going to accept it. That can't be bad for them. I bet you some people who are in the Bitcoin business might want to set up offices there because of that. So this.
Yeah,
could-
it's possible. I would think that they're going to wait for it to be accepted everywhere.
I think you're right. But
When you can pay the government
Look,
your
it's-
taxes
I'm merely
with
su-
Bitcoin, that'll work.
yeah, I'm merely suggesting I think it's a gutsy move.
Yeah, sure.
I like
sure.
people who have aggressive ideas and implement them.
That's why you like you and I.
You are definitely that kind of person, as am I.
Yes.
Pedro, we haven't figured him
No,
out
I
yet.
am paying. Yeah, no.
We're still pretty suspicious of him. I am thinking one way we could get past that obstacle is let's give him a lie detector test.
What would you like him to? What would you ask him if you put him on? So, by the way, in case you're listening for the first time, Pedro is our producer, an in-house producer. We have two producers. We have an in-house producer because we do our show live from our office. We have a studio in our office. So Pedro is our in-house producer, and then we have Phil Almquist, who is our WPHT producer. So when you call in, you'll actually be talking to Phil. But I just want to set the stage so you guys understand who we're talking about. So Pedro, what would you ask Pedro if you
Well,
would
I'd
put him on a lie
ask him.
detector
I'd
test?
ask him to interpret what I'm about to say.
All right.
Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad así en la tierra como en el cielo. El pan nuestro de cada día, danos hoy, y perdonos nuestras deudas y no nos dejes caer.
So Pedro, did he actually speak Spanish well? You can actually connect. You could connect, I believe.
Yeah.
He did. He spoke Spanish well.
Yeah, he said the Our Father in Spanish.
Oh yeah, I heard cielo, so I knew he was talking about God, but I didn't know exactly what he was doing. That's interesting. Okay, that's pretty good, Phil.
Okay.
You memorized that pretty well, man.
Well, I had to.
You had to.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're in Philadelphia. You had to go.
Every morning in prison, they made me say that.
He sounds like a mafioso shyster.
Perfect timing for that one.
All right. Now that we've totally entertained everybody, 855-939-1137 is our phone number, by the way. 855-939-1137. If you want to talk to us on the air, feel free to call us and you can talk to us on the air. And by the way, if you're calling from one of the stations that we have during the week, we are on 10 stations now, I believe.
Yeah, we're on a lot of stations, so I'll just give you a quick synopsis of it. We're on 3 stations in Philadelphia, 3 in New Jersey, multiple stations in Erie, Pennsylvania. We're in San Francisco on 2 different stations, and we're in Portland, Oregon. So any of you people out there who are listening to this show, if you're interested in learning a little bit about real estate investing or stock option investing, all you have to do is go to investorschooling.com, put your name and email address in, and you will be invited to a free class on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes, and via Zoom. They can actually come via Zoom.
Via
which is
Zoom.
kinda
They
cool.
do not have to come to Philadelphia to see us.
Especially not from San Francisco.
Yeah, I think that might be expensive.
It could be, but it
And
will be worth it too.
It would be worth it. But they won't know that until they attend at least one Zoom class.
Right. And also, if you're listening to it and you want to call 855-939-1137, someone will actually answer the phone, or you can leave a message, but most likely someone will answer the phone, and we could discuss with you any questions that you have about the school or anything about real estate or stock options as well. So
Great,
just let you know, you can call anytime.
What else you want to talk about? We got a couple minutes before the first commercial.
I know we got a commercial coming up, but my Dunkin' Donuts coffee tastes really good. So I'm really glad that you fought for me to get the Dunkin' Donuts coffee this morning. That was great.
Yeah, I don't know that I fought for you. I just picked up a cup of coffee.
No, well, you fought in the parking lot for me, so that was really nice.
I almost fought in the parking lot.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe we should go to the commercial now, just because we're struggling with something.
But before we do go to the commercial, if you want to talk about Philadelphia politics, if you want to talk about Bolsheviks or Jacobins, if you want to talk about cash, silver, treasury bonds, or if you just want to call up and speak Spanish, that's fine.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat if somebody could call up and speak Spanish. I like that.
We need to test Pedro in a few more ways.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go to commercial break.
All right.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from Investor Schooling.
Hey, Larry, how many commercials do you want? How many minutes do you
You
want?
can run 4 minutes.
Thursday night at...
Okay, I'll do the. Well, I got 3.
Investing. So get your butt to this meeting. 7 p.m. this Thursday night. Langhorne, 215-876-3002. Investors.
Hey, Larry, you gonna possibly have another one or no?
Whatever you want to do. .com. You heard my partner Phil.
I just asked so I can set it up back up again. No big deal either way.
Real estate investing and learn about options trading. We're telling you right now, you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these 2 skills. Be there this Thursday night at 7 o'clock in our Langhorne headquarters. Go to investorschooling.com. Pull over right now. Take out your phone and go to investorschooling.com. Hey, Joe, you should put on commercial. Right now. Investorschooling.com. See you Thursday.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. We're an executive suite center in Huntington Valley on Buck Road, 67 Buck Road, Huntington Valley. I'm sure you've driven past it. We're right in between Street Road and County Line Road. We have 47 offices in the prestigious address of Huntington Valley. I have offices starting at $595 a month. You're probably wondering, Phil, what do I get for $595
Yeah,
a
you should
month?
put up the commercial that we're on a commercial break.
For one person. You get the furniture
one that says
in
we're on
that
commercial
office. You
break?
get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone numbers. You get the fax numbers. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you. So if your company's ABC Painting Company, hey, ABC Painting Company, how can I help you? Would you like to talk to Bob? Let me get him on the phone. You could be home sleeping on your couch and I'll patch the calls right to you. What else do we give you? We give you the conference rooms. We give you the kitchen. We give you the mailboxes, the printer, the copier, the scanner, UPS service, you name it. All of
That's
the
the one.
utilities, cleaning service, and best of all, we give you free coffee.
Then you can round robin
Get
the
yourself to
cameras, too.
Executech Suites. Phone number is 215-942-7701. 215-942-7701. ExecutechSuites.com.
Hey, it's Larry Steiners from InvestorSchooling.com. Hey, listen, one of the things we teach in Investor Schooling is stock options. Did you know that you can make 50, 100, 150% returns every year trading stock options? Yes, I know there's risk, but I'm going to tell you right now that some of the things we teach will help you mitigate that risk. Could you imagine when you look at your return and it shows 100% returns? You will be really happy. Come to a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. You can RSVP at investorschooling.com.
All right, Larry, back in 10.
Okay. Stock options trading, of course. You will also learn real estate investing. Come to investorschooling.com. We will see you there Thursday night.
You're back.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, you can give us a call at 855-939-1137. If you're in your car, pick up your car phone, 855 car phone. Wow, did I actually say car phone? I haven't heard that term car phone in such a long time, but you can pick up your cell phone, 855-939-1137, and you can talk to us. You can ask us questions about real estate, stock options, money, gold, silver. You could even ask questions about how long Phil was in jail for.
I see my car still looks pretty good.
Yeah, we just saw your car come up on the video, and it looks like nobody has stolen it yet, or marked it up yet, or done anything bad to it yet. So if you weren't listening, Phil, if you weren't listening before the commercial, Phil yelled at somebody because Phil parked in a handicap spot, and they yelled at him, so he yelled back, and now he's afraid that somebody's going to do damage to his car. So we had to put a camera on Phil's car. So if you're watching on Facebook, you could actually see Phil's car on Facebook every once in a while come up as well. 855-939-1137. So what's next, Phil?
All right, let's get in one of these topics. You get what you pay for. And if you pay people to stay at home, they will. What do you think about
I love that.
Larry?
That's great. That would be a beautiful Facebook meme. Just say it one more the way you said. One more time.
I
the way
wish
you
I
said
could
it.
be in the audience and go, President Biden, I'm Phil Falcone from Investor Schooling. I'd like to ask you a question. You get what you pay for. And if you pay people to stay at home, they will.
Yeah, I got to go with that one. I'm just wondering why why unemployment is still a little high. It's not very high, but it's still a little high. And all you see everywhere are signs: help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. So I was at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it wasn't a week ago. It was a couple of days ago. I was at a restaurant, and all of a sudden I see all these new people there. And it's the first time I'm there, I see all these new people. There's like 6 new people starting that same day. And I'm like, what's going on? I see everybody starting new. And I swear, one girl says to me, she goes, yeah, my unemployment ran out, so I just had to get a job.
That's America for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings us to what? The next topic, which makes total sense to talk about, which is?
Are you already finished with this topic?
Unless you want to talk about it yourself.
Well, what do you think? Do you think that the decisions that the current government and the current White House are making is in tune with the Bolsheviks?
I don't know about the Bolsheviks. I got to look. We have absolutely just experienced communism for the last year. There's no doubt, or a good piece of communism where the government is paying all these everybody's bills. There's no evictions. Look, there were all these SBA loans. I mean,
I wouldn't call that communism. What they're doing is they're idiots, and they're just pumping money into the
Correct.
into the economy. That's all they're doing. And what's going to happen with that? Is it going to be inflation? Is it going to be deflation? I'm not really sure.
2008's coming again.
I mean, something scary is coming. And the decisions, if every decision you're making is wrong, there's only so many bad decisions you can keep making before something happens. So I'm sort of envisioning like a hot air balloon, right, with all this money in it, and it's got a pretty big tear in it right now. And if you keep filling it with hot air, sooner or later something's going to happen bad, like a crash.
Yep, I agree. You know, it's interesting how the amount of money being pumped in is just unreal. In 2001, when 9/11 came, the government did the same thing. They tried to keep us from having an economic meltdown from 9/11, and they accomplished it. They did very well. The problem was we had to pay for it in 2008. I believe that this time they're pumping more money in than they've ever pumped in, much more money. And I don't know what the numbers are, but much more money than they pumped in 2001. And I believe we're going to pay for it dearly, probably in 2 to 3 years.
You might be accurate with that assessment.
Yeah, and that's going to bring us to a really good point because we're going to be able to buy houses cheap. We're going to be able to take over mortgages. There's people going to be in trouble. Not the eviction moratorium, which we're going to talk about next, but the people with the moratorium on their payments, what's it called, the forbearance on their payments for their mortgages, it's going to be miserable for a lot of people. Miserable.
That is going to cause a whole new tidal wave of evictions.
Evictions and foreclosures. Yeah, right, right.
It's going to be bad on every level.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anybody except the banks. And I'm not even sure it helps them.
No. The reason the banks did what they did was they did it so that they could soften the blow to the investors. It was brilliant.
You mean like stretching it out?
Yeah, absolutely. They're softening the blow to the investors. Look, you got to. I mean, I hate to say it, but the truth is, the bank is more concerned about their profits than they are concerned about throwing somebody out of their house. That's just the way it is. That's life. That's the negative side of capitalism. But if people would just learn to not be caught up in these traps, they would be fine.
All right, so let's go to the next question. When will Philadelphia politicians allow evictions? What do you think's going on there?
So it's supposed to be at the end of this month is when they're supposed to stop.
But where did that come from? I mean, I did hear that, okay, in one of our mastermind meetings, but I didn't exactly have time to get validation on it.
Yeah, well, so the article in Philadelphia Inquirer Philadelphia extends eviction moratorium through June 30th. It's a recent article. The article was published on May 13th. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say that it's probably good. It's probably legit. Can they do it again? I don't know. Now remember, Wolf has been stripped of his powers, which thank God. I can't believe that they finally did that. It's so great. Now the question is, can Philadelphia still continue a moratorium on evictions? They can. But even if they don't, it's going to be, the backlog is going to be unbelievable. If you have houses in Philadelphia right now and your tenants aren't paying, you're in trouble anyway.
Well, I am very happy to say that I do not have any houses in Philadelphia
me too.
anymore.
Me too.
At one point I had 22, 24, whatever, I don't even remember the number. And then I got rid of all of them years ago and moved most of the money down to Florida. But
You moved it to America?
What?
You moved your money to America?
Yeah, I moved my money to America, yeah. And would I buy in Philadelphia again? I mean, if things got really bad down there and it hit rock bottom, I might have to. Which is crazy, because it's kind of like dipping your toe back into lava, hot lava or something. Because I know I'm going to get burned again.
Philadelphia is going to be a place to invest probably in the next 3 to 5 years, where the price is going to drop down again, and it's going to be so easy to invest. The only thing is you're going to have to deal with the same thing. You have to deal with the 3 or 4 licenses or the inspections and the government that really doesn't want you there. And that's the biggest problem you're going to have. But that's it.
They never appreciated us, so I'm used to that part.
No, they prefer to have the town run down and not be friendly to investors, because the investors will come in and make the town look nice. Why would they want that?
Okay, let's tackle probably one of the more difficult topics to explain on the radio.
Which one is that?
What is a covered call?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. But it's not terribly well. So I don't know if I have to go there and talk about what a call option is first. Maybe I will, because that's the explanation that will lead us to what a covered call is. But if you're listening and you want to know more about this, you definitely want to come to Investor Schooling this Thursday. We'll talk about it. You can even call in right now, 855-939-1137, and talk about it as well. But if you want to come to investorschooling.com and learn what calls are and what covered calls are, you will definitely benefit from that. But let's see what I can do to try to explain it. So real quick, a call, when you're buying a call, you're buying the option to buy a stock at a locked-in price. So, for example, if the stock is currently going for $100 a share, you want to buy the option. If you can buy the option to lock in the price at $100, you may pay maybe $5 for 3 months worth of time. In other words, you could have that option for 3 months, and you paid $5. And if the stock goes over 100, actually, if it goes over 100, you can collect some money on it. If it goes over 105, every dollar over the 105 you made as profit. So that's basically what a call is. A covered call is you're the person who has the stock that's guaranteeing that you will sell the stock to somebody for that locked-in price. And I will tell you that it is by the way, it's the safest way to invest at all in stock options is covered calls, and you can make 2 or 3%, maybe 2 or 3% per month doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty safe. However, I don't know that it's safe in the current environment, because if you do covered calls, then you have to own the stock, at least 100 shares of whatever stock you're selling.
Correct.
Which means that if you were making any real money off of selling covered calls, you would have to own thousands of shares of stock, most likely.
Right.
And if the market tanked during that time frame that you were totally locked in and you couldn't sell it because you've offered it already to some other buyer, you could find yourself in a difficult situation where you can't dump your stock.
Well, you could actually buy back the call. So if the stock goes down to a certain point,
you buy back the call before it expires?
Yeah, you could buy it back. You could buy it back from somebody else and just replace it, basically, what you're doing. So you could still be up maybe 50%. The amount of money you sell the call for is all yours. But you can buy it back, and you could spend maybe a portion of that money that you sold the call for, maybe half, and you can buy it back, and then you can sell the stock, but you're still selling the stock at a loss. So that's where it becomes difficult. Now, there are certain stocks.
How do you know you're selling at a loss? The stock could be going up.
No, this was based on your example.
Okay.
That the stock went down.
Oh, that the market was
right.
crashing. Okay.
However, there are certain stocks that are great stocks for covered calls because you can hold on to them for a really long time, like Apple. And they also pay a dividend. So even if you have to hold on to it and you're stuck in it, you're getting the dividend. So Apple to me is a great covered call stock. I think it's one of the best ones out there right now. Hey, by the way, we got Kim from PA on hold. What's going on, Kim? How can we help you?
Hi, Larry and Phil.
Hi.
The reason I'm calling in, I've called in before. I actually attended your class
Cool.
and had the opportunity to speak with Larry about my financial situation and my goals to get into real estate. So I have a question, and I'm not sure if it's something that you would want to that you think would be germane to your investors, or your listeners. But my question here's my question. When I sat with Larry to talk to him about my goals for investing, he talked to me about the fact that my finances are really in bad shape, and that I really needed to get my stuff together. And he gave me a few steps to take, and I've taken them. And one of them was that I needed to, I had a relative who was living in a property at a very favorable rate to them. And, one of the things that he told me was you need to straighten that out. So we finally have, and I'm selling that property, and I'm going to close that to the relative for a market rate. And I guess I'm looking for your thoughts on what my strategy should be. I'm somebody who eventually wants to get into investing, right? But I really don't have two nickels to scratch together, and I'm still probably going to have more debt. So I basically I'm going to have the proceeds from the sale of the property. I'm not going to have enough to cover all of my debt. So I guess I'm looking for some advice on what should be my strategy to position myself the best with this money, as far as, obviously I'm going to be reaching out to the unsecured creditors, to try to, negotiate much more favorable rates.
So hold on a second.
Should I be trying to hold on to a certain amount of money?
Right. So this is a common mistake that people make. Don't necessarily pay off all your debt just because you got a large chunk of money coming in. Part of it, you actually want to take part of that money, if not all of that money, and we'll probably should come back in and we should talk again. Only because I want to make sure that you do this right. Because once you give your money to the creditors, it sounds like your credit is shot. It sounds like you haven't paid them in a while, so your credit's already shot. Right. So paying them does nothing for you. It basically does nothing for you. And believe me, these creditors can actually afford to not be paid back by you. Now, you have to be able to morally accept this, and that's where people get stuck. They're like, my parents taught me to pay all my bills, and sometimes you just don't. And again, I do this on a case-by-case basis. I don't know the full story, Kim. I do know who you are, but I need to know the whole full story because it's been a while since you've been in. So I need to know all of it before you do it. I want you to absolutely take a part of that money and put it away and or invest it, if not all of it. We'll talk about it again. You must you don't, and I also tell people don't take money from savings to pay off credit. That's a mistake as well, because if you're taking money from savings and paying off credit, you have nothing. I mean, imagine when you go back to the creditor and go, hey, listen, I made a mistake. Right. I need $10,000 to fix my heater in my house or my roof in my house. Right. And they go, oh, no problem. We'll give you your money back. That's not what's going to happen. So I want to make sure you have an emergency fund set up. I want to make sure that you have some investments set up and or some money in the bank before you pay any of the creditors. And frankly, if your credit score is shot so badly, you can negotiate almost to zero what you owe them. So I would be really careful on who you're talking to and how you're negotiating with that. But come on in, come visit us again. Come on in, and we'll talk about it some more. And I appreciate the call.
Wonderful.
I would just add one thing before you get off the line. One of the main things that we do at Investor Schooling is we talk about money. We think about money. We discuss it in a public format. We discuss it in a presentation format. You should just come to the school, become a member, spend some time just learning about money. And a lot of new ideas that may have never occurred to you will begin to pop up in your mind, which will help you to succeed in life.
Yeah, and it works for the online students as well. People who see us on Zoom, same thing. They're learning. I mean, I get phone calls and text messages from people all the time. I just got a text message from a guy who 2 years ago, his credit score was 560. He had no credit. He had no money. He had nothing. Now his credit score is 788. He was bragging to me. 788 was his credit score, and how he changed his whole life. He now has a house he lives in that he bought, and everything is different for him, all because he started attending class online. He's never been to our school. He's in Florida. He's never been to our school.
I mean, I don't think it's important that you're here personally. It doesn't matter that much. What matters is, are you listening to what's being discussed?
Exactly. And it sounds like she did some of the things that we talked about.
It sounds like she did.
That's awesome, Kim.
Absolutely, I've done everything you told me, Larry.
That's
Yep.
awesome, Kim. That's awesome. Well, come back in. Come in this Thursday. You are my special guest this Thursday. I realize you're not a student yet, but you are my special guest this Thursday. I want to talk about you and while you're there on Thursday. And I thank you so much for calling. It's really sweet. Thank you.
So
All right.
I
Wonderful.
just want
Thank
to
you.
ask
Take care,
you,
guys.
Larry, a question. So we always refer to covered calls as covered calls, but they can
Right.
also be covered puts, correct?
Yeah, covered puts are slightly different. They work differently than covered calls. It's a lot harder to explain, but you have to. You're basically selling. You're selling stock short and then selling covered puts on the short play. So you're never owning the stock if you're selling it short, and then you're covering yourself to make sure that if the stock keeps going down, the covered put will make your money. But if the stock goes up and it goes up a lot, you're going to lose a lot of money fast.
What's it, like a margin call if that happens?
It's worse than a margin call. Yeah, I mean it's a margin call. It's what it is. But
Margin calls
but the
are pretty
numbers,
scary,
yeah,
so
yeah, no, the
I don't
numbers
know how it could be worse.
the numbers could be astronomical for covered puts. So covered put. So basically, covered calls are extremely safe. Covered calls are extremely safe. Covered puts are extremely risky. So I would just stay away from that. It's not my thing. You can buy a call to cover your covered put, but at that point, and it starts turning into something called an iron condor. At that point, you're making such little money, you might as well just buy the call and sell the covered call. Buy the stock and sell the covered call.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting to me is I was trading options for 3 years, never realizing that I could actually sell an option.
Right.
And I just thought TD Ameritrade just did that.
Right. And here's the other thing, too. If you have a certain type of trading account, like I do, you can actually sell the call without owning the stock, which is also extremely risky
Yeah, I bet it is.
because you have to buy the stock back. If you have to buy the stock and then sell it to somebody if the stock goes up really high.
So look, we're coming up on a commercial break. Why don't we run our commercial, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about a potential crash in the stock market. What would we do? Would we put our money in cash, silver, treasury bond, commodities, whatever it may be? We're going to discuss that as soon as we come back in about 4 minutes. Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com. I'm inviting you to a complimentary class in Langhorne this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. So get your butt to this meeting, 7 p.m. this Thursday night, Langhorne, 215-876-3002, InvestorSchooling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these two skills. Be there this Thursday night at 7 o'clock in our Langhorne headquarters. Go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now. Take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now. InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. We're an executive suite center in Huntington Valley on Buck Road, 67 Buck Road, Huntington Valley. I'm sure you've driven past it. We're right in between Street Road and County Line Road. We have 47 offices in the prestigious address of Huntington Valley. I have offices starting at $595 a month. You're probably wondering, Phil, what do I get for $595 a month? Let me tell you. You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone numbers. You get the fax numbers. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you. So if your company's ABC Painting Company, hey, ABC Painting Company, how can I help you? Would you like to talk to Bob? Let me get him on the phone. You could be home sleeping on your couch and I'll patch the calls right to you. What else do we give you? We give you the conference rooms. We give you the kitchen. We give you the mailboxes, the printer, the copier, the scanner, UPS service, you name it. All of the utilities, cleaning service, and best of all, we give you free coffee. Get yourself to Executech Suites. Phone number is 215-942-7701. 215-942-7701. ExecutechSuites.com.
Hey, it's Larry Steiners from InvestorSchooling.com. Hey, listen, one of the things we teach in Investor Schooling is stock options. Did you know that you can make 50, 100, 150% returns every year trading stock options? Yes, I know there's risk, but I'm going to tell you right now that some of the things we teach will help you mitigate that risk. Could you imagine when you look at your return and it shows 100% returns? You will be really happy. Come to a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. You can RSVP at InvestorSchooling.com. Our headquarters are in Langhorne.
Back in 10, Larry.
Training, of course, you will also learn real estate investing. Come to InvestorSchooling.com. We will see you there Thursday night.
All right, you're back.
I'm digging this come-in music. This is awesome. Beautiful. Great. All right. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. We are here, and we are taking your phone call, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. You can call us right now. You can call us like Kim just called us. She was talking about a problem she had, and we actually helped her with it. It was awesome. And we can help you with a problem or question about anything, real estate, stock options, money. We're about to talk about silver and gold, aren't we?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right, so there's a lot of chatter right now about the market being in a very precarious position. And the fact that what's going on politically, which always has something to do with everything, the economy for sure, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah, me too.
It's a little bit more than the usual chatter. There's always somebody out there saying the market's going to crash. There's always another bunch of people who are saying the market's going to go up. You never know really what to do, but the level of warning that's coming out these days from some really smart people is very concerning to me. So some of the people that I've been listening to, they all see the crash coming. So it's really, the most important question is what? What do you do? So one thing you could do is you could move all your money in your stock account to cash. That's one thing you can do. Wait for the market to collapse.
Sure.
Right? And then go in and buy up stocks at bargain basement prices. That's something you could do. You could invest in silver. I know a guy, Harry Dent, who's all over YouTube. And Harry says that the best thing in the event of a crash is treasury bonds. And other people are saying, why not invest in commodities? Because they're going up like crazy right now, okay? So what do you think, Larry?
So I'm going to tell you that I agree with part of that. I like the idea of being cash, but I also like the idea of getting credit. Right now, you can get credit pretty easily. It's easier to get credit than it's ever been. Get home equity loans. Get as many home equity loans as you can. Get as many credit cards as you can. Get all the credit you can. And people are saying, what? That doesn't make any sense. The economy is about to crash. Why would I want to get credit? The reason you want to get credit is because you're going to be the one with cash and or both credit and cash, and you're the only one who's going to be able to buy anything. And because you're the only one who's going to be able to buy anything, you're going to be able to get stuff at rock bottom prices. So when the economy crashes and the real estate market, when the rug gets pulled from under you or everyone else in the real estate market, you're going to be able to go and buy those houses, and you're going to have that cash available. You won't have to go to a bank and wait for them to decline you because they're declining everybody. It's funny. I used to work many, many, many years ago. I worked for Crazy Eddie, and I remember being in a meeting with Eddie Antar, who turned out to be a criminal, but I still like what he said. Besides the fact that his prices were insane, he actually said that get money when you don't need it, because when you need it, you can't get it. And he was talking about a loan that Crazy Eddie had just gotten. This was before they got into some serious trouble. But I totally agree with that philosophy. Get money when you don't need it, because when you need it, you can't get it. And you're going to need it. You're going to be one of the few people who's going to be out there that can buy stuff.
Well, as you know, I just got approved for a $360,000 line of credit on my primary residence.
That's great.
Which is a nice chunk of change to add to the money that I already had. But at the same time, if the real estate market were to be simultaneously crashing alongside of the stock market, it wouldn't take a whole lot of effort for any bank that gave you a HELOC to revise that HELOC pretty easily.
So here's what you're going to do. And for real, this is what you're going to do, Phil.
Take all the money.
You're going to take the money. But don't take it. You don't have to take it right now.
Yeah, but you use it.
Right. As you start to sense...
You can't take it back if you use it.
That's right. As you start to sense them pulling back loans, you're going to do that. You're going to take the entire amount of money. What are you going to pay? 3% on it? Who cares? Maybe 4%, 5%? Who cares? You and I
Go
could
buy
make a lot
something.
more
Go
money.
buy an apartment building. Go
Right,
buy a mobile
right.
home park. Go buy something.
Right.
Go buy a
and
bunch of houses.
And even if you have nothing to buy, you take the money out. Even if you put it and park it while you're paying 5% on it, you're still going to have that money accessible when you need
It's
it.
not 5%. It's less.
No, I know. But I'm just using that as a worst case scenario.
Is there
and it's not.
any other strategy that you really like? Like a guy like you and I who trade stock options at some pretty high levels,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to keep a huge portion of your account in cash to be ready to act. Don't you think?
So I actually have a lot of silver and I have a lot of gold.
Yeah, I know you
And
do.
I actually have the physical silver and gold because I believe that if anything ever happens to our monetary system, I will be able to buy a quart of milk from my neighbor who has a cow. Now, my neighbor doesn't have a cow, so I just want to make sure you know that. I'm using that as a as an analogy. But I could buy a quart of milk from my neighbor who has a cow with a silver coin where you may have cash that may not be good anymore, or you may have assets in a bank somewhere and the banks are all closed and you can't get them and the internet's down. So that's why I believe in having some silver and gold. Not a whole lot, but just enough to get you by until possibly the world has a new monetary system, or until something happens and fixes the problem. I mean, I like watching zombie movies. They're my favorite. 'Cause
Really?
when you watch zombie movies, I always want to know what happens after the movie. I want to know, because now there's few people left on the earth that are on zombies, and they start killing the zombies.
How do they-
What happens to the people? How do they get their society back? So, like The Walking Dead, I keep waiting for that to happen, and it never happens.
I never understood that how some guy is a 60-year-old man who can hardly walk up and down steps, but then he transforms into a zombie and now he can scale up a 50-foot wall. How is that? Would you explain that to me?
I don't need to explain it. We've got Biden doing it right now.
All right.
Pedro laughed so hard I could hear him through the glass.
All right, let's talk about something else. I mean, we could talk about a crash and what we would do and where we would put our money and what we would invest in. These are all interesting things. I want to talk about what does it mean to be politically diversified. So what I'm basically saying is, in my opinion, the decisions being made by the United States government are as crazy as any fictional story could have ever come up with.
You can't, I used to watch House of Cards. I used to watch House of Cards, and halfway through House of Cards, I had to stop watching it because it wasn't as good as the
Reality. Okay.
I know.
Okay, wanting to invest $1 trillion in global warming. Well, if you want to find out about global warming, just ask somebody who lives in a house that has a boat dock out back and go, hey, has the water level risen since you look at it every single day, 12 hours a day? Has it risen at all? Right. You know that tree and that rock over there? Has that rock disappeared into the water? No? How long have you lived here? 40 years. Okay, anyway. All right. This is what it means to be politically diversified. If the government in the United States, in its current condition, is insanity, why not take some of your money, maybe sell some of your assets in the United States, go and acquire assets in another country, potentially like something in South America, okay? Maybe Belize or El Salvador, for example. Go and make some moves in another country. To me, that is a way to be politically diversified. I'm not saying I'm going to contribute to the Democrats and the Republicans. That will never happen.
You do understand when I said that. I didn't mean necessarily contribute to. I meant buy a politician.
Oh, okay, yeah, but that's...
give money to Nancy Pelosi and give money to...
Okay, I have my own definition of the phrase, and what I'm saying is, if you took part of your net worth and you put it in a different country that you felt would be a safe place to put it, you would be... at least portion of your money would be under a different government, which couldn't possibly be as crazy as the government currently going on in the United States right now.
Have you looked around? The other governments are all messed up as well.
Uruguay has a pretty good reputation right now. Belize does. and some other places. How about Panama? These 3 countries, I've been looking into it.
I know.
Right?
You have been.
Right?
We've been talking about it.
Because I'm
yeah.
thinking about buying a house in Belize
Right.
because, well, number one, I can afford it. Number two, it's not that far from where I live in Sarasota, so I can get there relatively easy.
Sure.
They speak English there, okay? Americans are welcome there. It's a relatively safe country. They've got a pretty, what appears to be, at least on paper, a pretty stable economy. I think that a really smart move for me in the next 12 months is to buy a house in another country, which would make me politically diversified to a certain extent.
That makes you extremely politically diversified.
Okay.
I think that's an extreme move. I don't think it's a bad move. I just think it's an extreme move. I'm not against it.
As long as I'm making money in both countries,
yeah,
who
exactly.
cares?
Yeah, and as
And
long as you
even
make money, if nothing else, you have a great vacation place to go to. Who cares?
Right. It'll
You know?
become
Right.
another vacation rental house that
Yeah.
I'll rent out on VRBO, and who cares? But what it also does for me is it gives me a little bit of balance. So even if something goes totally nuts here, and really the country I'm worried about, I'm not worried about Uruguay, Panama, or El Salvador, or Belize. I'm worried about America.
right.
Because that's where I think all the crazies are.
And no, we also have the crazies, and we also have the crazies against us.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're going to bomb Belize. They're going to bomb Florida.
No, they're more likely to kill me
Right.
than they would to do anything to Uruguay.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But we've definitely gone into a totally different path this week.
Well, I told you we're going to have a dark show here today.
Yeah.
So
And
that
it's all
is
because
my,
the guy yelled at you because of the coffee. I know.
that is my explanation of what I think is politically diversified. And if you like what I'm talking about, you should get your butt to investor schooling. Because after the class, you and I can get together and discuss how you can be politically diversified. I haven't told you everything.
Yes.
All right.
We haven't told you. We can't tell you everything. Some of it we don't want anybody to know.
All right, so listen.
What are we talking about?
We got 7 minutes left to finish this show.
All right.
Is the stock option Sultan available?
Stock option Sultan. Stock option Sultan.
Woo! All right. I am the stock option sultan, and here's what we got going on this week. I still think Apple is an awesome play. The cool part about Apple is becoming my favorite covered call. You could buy this right now. It's at 127. By the way, if Apple hits 124, buy the stock. Or you can buy a call on it too. I don't care. But buy the stock at 124 and then sell the covered call at 127, and you can do that week after week after week if it just stays here. If nothing else, Apple is definitely going to go up. It's going to. I predict Apple 135, 150 soon. I'm shocked that it's not 150, 160 already, but it is what it is. In fact, all of the other stocks are becoming too expensive. Facebook, one of my favorite plays, is becoming too expensive at 335. I just don't have any interest in it, or 330 it is, I guess. I have no interest in it anymore. It's kind of becoming too difficult to be in. Now, I do have a put on Facebook because I believe Facebook is going to drop. I'm going to tell you something about Facebook. One of the tests that I have for Facebook, whether it's going to go up or down, is how many ads I see when I scroll on Facebook. And I noticed this morning there were a lot less ads. Now, I attribute this probably to what Apple did, which was Apple turned off the tracking for you can turn off your tracking on and off via your iPhone, and they made it very difficult for advertisers to track the behaviors of people in iPhones. Now, honestly, this has affected us too. We actually advertise a lot on Facebook, and we've noticed a big drop in our results from Facebook, but I'm also seeing that other people must be noticing this too. Now, if you're selling something that's $5 or $6 on Facebook, it's going to cost you way too much money to advertise on Facebook to be there, so I noticed those ads dropped off right away. So I believe that Facebook is going to see some serious loss of advertisers soon. It's going to be temporary because Facebook will be able to figure it out or do something else. I don't know. I mean, everybody else is getting this whole boredom with Facebook because you can't. Facebook says what's on your mind, and you're not allowed to post what's on your mind anymore. Because if you post what's on your mind, they'll shut off your account.
A lot of the things that I want to post are rejected before I can even post them.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Yeah. I had several things removed today. I noticed that this is another weekend that Facebook has decided that they want to go through everything.
I'm saying that I put it in to paste it and hit post, and it comes back immediately saying this can't be posted.
That's really odd.
Yeah. Try posting something from naturalnews.com.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
now I
they
know
will
what you mean.
not
Yeah,
let
they
me
won't let you
post.
share certain things. Yeah.
They won't let you share anything from him.
Yeah. So that's going to be bad. That's going to be bad for them in the future. So Alibaba is another play. I I can't believe this. I have a call expiring this week on Friday. A $2.15 strike price, and Alibaba is at $2.12. How in the world did I get into this mess again? This is horrible. So I'm going to write it out and see what happens. But I need a Hail Mary right now. I need Alibaba to hit 220 for me to break even. If it hits 225, I'll be very happy, but I need 220 to break even, and I'm shocked. I also believe Alibaba is a play right now. I have another buy set at 205. So if Alibaba hits 205, I'm going to add to my position. Maybe it'll be a different option because I don't want it to go out to this Friday. I want it to go out further. But I believe Alibaba is a great play. I think it's being beat down by the concept of we're investing in a China company, and right now everyone wants to say, I don't want to invest in China because it's politically incorrect. And I think that's the problem. I think Alibaba is a great company, and I think it'll do fine. You got something you want me to look at?
No.
Okay.
But I would only add about Baba that, the company seems to be a good company, but you never really know when you're dealing with a Chinese company. Whether or not you're being told any of the truth. We know in the United States we're not told the truth about anything that we see on the news. So how the heck can you believe anything that's coming out of China?
Yeah, it's true.
And so there's a lot of suspicion about anything in China.
Well, Luckin Coffee was a great example. If you remember the Luckin Coffee story when it was up at the 30s, and then it turned out that the CEO and the CFO were cooking the books, and the stock dropped from 30 to 5 in one
The
day.
entire government of China is cooking the books on every company that exists.
It may be.
I believe that they are. I can't remember the name of the show I watch. I watch a documentary on the Chinese companies when they first came out after the 2008 crash, and there was a lot of fiction going around.
Yeah, it's kind of rough, yeah.
And that's a very nice way for me to say it.
Yeah, and then we saw Zoom this week. This week, Zoom popped up pretty well, and we all got out of it too early, and some bad mistakes we made this year. But I'll tell you what, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep making money. And if you want to come to Investor Schooling and learn how to do this, I'm telling you right now, it's a lot of fun. So you just go to investorschooling.com. You can sign up for a class on this Thursday. Phil, why don't you tell everybody how excited you are to be here?
All right, so I want to thank our producer, Phil Amquist, for helping us out today. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor on this show, email us at info@investorschooling.com. That's info@investorschooling.com. Don't forget to visit investorschooling.com. Put your name and email address in so you can attend a free class this Thursday night at 7 p.m. on real estate investing and stock option investing. I promise you, you're going to learn something and you're going to have a lot of fun because we always do. So, at this point, I got 15 seconds. I just want to say Thursday night, 7 p.m., 108 Corporate Drive, Langhorne, Pennsylvania, 19047. We're right across the street from the Newtown Athletic Club. See you Thursday night. We out of here.
This program is a paid commercial announcement and in no way represents the views of WPHT or its management.
All right. See you guys later.
Thanks, bud.
A family never sees a bill at all, not one bill.